I couldn't hold back a laugh when the CEO hurled my husband's clothes at him, thinking he could break his spirit. But what David did next turned everything upside down. It began on what seemed like a typical Monday. David had been at Cromwell Industries for years, far longer than I ever thought he should have stayed. That company was nothing more than a corporate battlefield, run by Richard Knight, a CEO who treated his employees like they were replaceable parts in his machine. Every evening, David came home drained, working long hours, never once voicing a complaint. He was too proud to admit how much the job was wearing him down. But I always knew Knight had singled him out. The subtle digs, the constant undermining, the public shaming. It was Knight's way of showing off his power. That Monday felt different. David left the house calmer than usual. The restless edge that had become second nature to him was gone, replaced by a steady determination I hadn't seen in years. When I asked about it, he only said, "Today's the day." Then he kissed my forehead and walked out. I brushed it off, thinking maybe he was finally getting good news, a promotion perhaps. Around 4 in the afternoon, I received a message from him asking me to come to his office. That had never happened before. My stomach tightened with nerves, but a small part of me hoped we were celebrating. The moment I stepped into Cromwell's lobby, though, I knew something was off. The atmosphere was heavy, thick with unspoken tension. The receptionist's uneasy glance confirmed it, and she quickly ushered me upstairs to the executive floor. Inside the pristine office, Richard Knight stood at the center like a king surveying his domain. Arms folded, arrogance practically radiating from him. David was a few feet away, surprisingly composed, too composed. Knight didn't even acknowledge my presence before launching into his performance. "Mr. Roberts," he sneered, "seems you've forgotten your place. Maybe this will remind you." With a dramatic flourish, Knight grabbed a pile of David's work clothes, shirts, trousers, even the spare shoes he kept for late nights, and flung them onto the polished floor. The soft thud of fabric echoed sharply in the silence, stretching the moment until the room itself felt strained. I couldn't help it. I let out a laugh. Not because it was funny, but because the absurdity was too much. The CEO of a multimillion-dollar company, acting like a playground bully. It felt surreal, like watching a bad play. Knight mistook my reaction for a victory, smugness written across his face. "Consider this your exit notice," he said, savoring every word. But David didn't flinch. He didn't even glance at the pile. Calmly, he crouched down, picked up each item, and folded them neatly one by one. I caught the faintest flicker of unease cross Knight's expression as he realized the scene wasn't going the way he imagined. David stepped forward, clothes in hand, and stopped right in front of him. Without speaking, he lifted the stack and tossed it back, hitting square against Knight's chest. The silence was deafening. The folded clothes slid down Knight's immaculate suit, peeling away his arrogance as they fell. His eyes darted, unsettled, unprepared for the reversal. That's when David broke the silence. His voice was calm but carried weight. "You've spent years tearing people down, stripping them of their worth just to feed your ego. But dignity isn't something you hand out or take away. It's something you carry within yourself. You've never given me anything. You push others down just to feel taller. But real strength isn't about control. It's about knowing who you are, even when someone tries to make you feel small. And I know exactly who I am." For the first time, Richard Knight had no retort. The man who built his reputation on destroying careers with a single word suddenly looked diminished, smaller than I had ever imagined. David turned to me, calm and steady, gave a faint smile and said simply, "Let's go." We walked out together, as if we were just leaving a dinner party a little early. In the elevator, I finally whispered, "What just happened?" He smiled again, quiet confidence shining through. Today was the day I decided I'd had enough. I've had another offer waiting for months. I knew Knight would eventually try something like this. Leaving wasn't just quitting, it was about taking back my dignity. He tried to break me again, but this time, I didn't let him. That's the difference. I was stunned. I had laughed when Knight threw David's clothes, thinking it was just another cruel act in a long line of them. But David didn't crumble. He didn't give Knight the satisfaction. He handed it right back. And in that moment, everything changed.